Hi all, this is a special edition of Chess 24 Banter Blitz. This is birthday edition, so birthday Banter Blitz for Chess 24, 5-year anniversary, as you can see. And there's a special code you can use, birthday 2019. This is a special edition. Let me just mute that, hold on a sec. So have a look at this special code, birthday 2019. So when buying a 1, 2 or 3 year premium membership, there's a special offer now at the moment. Check it out. So you get free 3 months. I'm not good with my free pronunciation. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, free, the number 3 months. So okay, that's very, very exciting offer. Let's go into the Banter Blitz screen, and special screen today. I hope audio and visual is okay before we start. Let me know. So it's a slightly different backdrop today. Hope it's okay. And let's take the challenges. So right, Big Voyage 2015. Something Sicilian defense here with knight c6 against c3, which I shouldn't have done. knight f6 might be better to provoke e5. Now that he's gone into a sort of kind of Danny Kopeck system, there's this international master which wriggled the bishop. I'm gonna try and avoid. Well, okay, knight c4 to d6 could be an incoming threat, but what about if I played d6 there? So knight c4, d6. Otherwise, knight d6 is interfering with my castling rights. Okay, I'm going to castle now, but I should still prevent knight d6, I believe. Okay, so I've got this clamp on d4 at the moment. And f5, f4 is a standard sort of squish plan I like using. I'm going to try it here because it's with tempo. Okay, there's a slight downside maybe, that this diagonal could be weak. Maybe, you know, for example, you know, taking and then d4 at the right time. That's really, I'm wondering, he might not take, so he doesn't. That bishop's locked in at the moment on c2. So I'm doing my squishing now with knight g6, h5 and g4 squish plan. Okay. So knight g6, knight h4, f3 is an incoming idea. And here, okay, I think that pawn can be taken. I'm happy that this bishop's still locked in. I turn every position into a king's position. Yeah, I like the fianchetto aggressive advance. Yeah. So g4, g takes. There's still the possibility of opening up that diagonal. f3 looks possible because knight takes bishop g4, except knight takes g5. Yeah, that's not right, is it? Because if queen takes, there's bishop takes. So I'm not sure f3 is working here because of bishop g4, knight takes g5. There, then there's queen takes g4. So if f3 is not possible, what is useful here then? I wonder. G4, maybe I should go in for G4. Takes. There's knight takes G4. Queen D7. Actually, what's wrong with knight D4? What's wrong with knight D4? There's Queen H5. Knight D4 looks pretty pleasant actually. Okay, the knight's holding the bishop. Queen H. Yeah, maybe Queen H5 is playable. Okay, here though, F3. Surely F3 here. And now there's the possibility of G4 or Bishop G2. Maybe Bishop G2 is better. I imagine this knight's going to be challenged. What about Bishop G2 to hold F3? Bishop E3, Bishop G2. I wonder. Okay, I'm going to try that with the idea Queen D7, Queen H3, Bishop F1. I remember this is an idea I've seen from some strong players in the past, like Dimitrios Agnos. I think he once played this idea against me. Queen H3, Bishop F1 in the Blitz game. And then Queen G2. So Queen H3, Bishop F1 with the idea Queen G2. This looks pretty dangerous, or Bishop H1 might even be better. I mean, it holds F3. In a technical sense, it might be better. Bishop H1 might be better than Bishop F1. Just holding F3. So Bishop H1, Queen G2. This should be interesting. Here, around about here. Bishop H1. Is there a defense? I'm not sure there is. Okay, I'm going to go with Bishop H1 with the idea Queen G2. Alright, thanks for the game. Exciting game. Okay. Fellow Crusher here. I'll go with C4. So yeah, there's a fantastic offer at the moment for the birthday offer. Those get an extra like quarter of a year basically, even on a, I believe as I read it, even on a shorter membership. Check that out, that offer, if you ever wanted to experience the full blast of the perks. Chess24 offers, including challenging all the streamers, including GMs, strong, very strong GMs, which have even been seconds to, I believe, the rumour has it, seconds to Magnus Carlsen on occasion. I'm not going to go into details there, but okay. So H3. I like the King's Engine attack style of this position that I'm controlling E4. I can actually provoke dark square weaknesses, I believe, with this move. So I'm trying to sort of puncture those dark squares to create some dark square weaknesses. Now, one question is G4. Another is Bishop G5. Bishop G5, Knight F6. But G4, okay, there's Knight F6. Queen H4, there's Knight E4. It might actually be worth playing Bishop G5. I guess there's always Knight F6, Queen H4, H6. Okay, is G4 a move or not? I'm gonna try it. Not certain. I imagine. Okay, let's imagine Knight F6, Queen H4, Knight E4. Okay, that's not happening. I'll take away the F6 square from Knight F6. Okay, so I've got some of those dark square weaknesses that I was going on about. Now Queen G7, there's Queen H6 with an idea Bishop H6 sometimes. So okay, Knight takes. Oh, there's Knight F3 though. I have to parry. Oh, Knight F3. Okay. Okay, I have a threat now, I believe, bishop h6, but I have lost a pawn, but these knights are kind of on dark squares, so maybe it's not a big deal. I like the dark square bishop without the counterpart. That knight's hanging because of that interruption. Okay, so can I do something with this? Maybe g5. I don't know if g5 is a reasonable move. I really want to clamp down my opponent's position. I don't know if the bishop's worth it being on over there on b6. I'll put it back on h2, but I'm worried about... Oh, okay, I'm a piece up. I shouldn't be that worried. I'm a scaredy cat, I guess. Rook ad1, f4, rook ad1. I want to discourage that e5 move as a priority. I wonder if I can just play f4 here and then improve the position, but I'm locking in my own bishop. Is it worth playing f4 or not? Maybe I just hold at least the d4 square for a bit longer. So e5 at the moment. I don't think d4's dangerous. It opens up the bishop, of course. If I doubled rooks, could I double rooks? If I try and get more control over the center here. Okay, f4 seems to be prompted. Alright, I think I'm going to have to do f4, unfortunately. I don't want to lose another pawn. Mind you, there's h6. Oh, this is getting complicated, isn't it? Okay, knight e2 to d4, and I lose a4. Maybe it's worth... No, I can't even do that legally, so... Okay, that doesn't help. Okay, queen over here for a moment. Bishop over here. That improves the bishop. I think this bishop on g1 would improve this bishop slightly. So king h1, bishop g1. I don't know what he's threatening exactly. Maybe hold the bishop just in case. I suppose sometimes f4 will be loose if I play bishop g1. If I kick the queen, goes queen. Oh, there's a possibility of doing this to exchange off some rooks, because queen takes the rook d4, so I take off the rooks here. I believe that might be worth taking off the rooks. Rook d8, knight take... Oh, okay. There's rook d4. I thought that's a skewer. Because that rook was protected by the knight. So I was expecting exchange of rooks. Okay, queen takes, hitting the bishop, and the bishop takes. Okay, thanks for the game there. Yeah, well, I was a bit worried, as you can see. Yeah, there's no hiding it. There's no hiding it. I even if a piece up, I'm not. You know, there's other things to worry about. You know, I thought e5 and d4. Okay, so e5 here. Okay, I'm trying to get a king's engine again. King's engine addict, but this is with a difference because I haven't committed to knight f6. So I'm trying for an accelerated king's engine approach without, because that knight hasn't committed. It's kind of accelerated here. I can push the f pawn immediately, then knight f6. Sometimes you have to rearrange your pieces and then f5 and then rearrange them back. And it's good to have this move order in a way. I think accelerated. I mean, this is an acceleration. The bayonet attack idea is an acceleration of a queenside attack concept, which has got very popular over the recent years against the mainline king's engine. I wonder if f4 is tempting here, or should I just leave that? Let's see. Does he castle? I'd welcome this bishop being activated if he ever took. If he plays knight d2, then crunch f4 traps the bishop. Okay, let's see. Is he not castling? Is he not castling? Okay, he's not castling. surely he's going to have to do something at some point in relation to the king. He's not castling queenside either. You know what? The thing is, I think I think the point is, I suspect one point of his play here is f4 makes the king safer in the centre. So if that really is the case, how do I actually exploit this position? Do I play f4 anyway? That's very interesting. So he's clearly not interested in castling into it, so to speak. So the king's being left in the centre. And my king's now a target. But I'm making it more lucrative to take on f5 here with my king on h7. So it's more lucrative after king h7 to take, surely. But it's not enough temptation, I think. So I'm actually wondering, what am I doing if I'm not doing f4 still? I'm still wondering that. Can I take off a centre pawn rather cheekily? Because my king's not on g8, which means f takes, knight takes looks plausible. He can play cd, knight d6. Can I prepare that? Is that something of interest anyway? Or do I just get on with f4? What would be... Okay, bishop f4. Bishop d2, g5. I don't know what I'm up to there. I can crumble his centre, but I lose d6. Maybe... I don't know actually. No, I don't know. Is there bishop a4 after? Okay, I'm going to rely on some weird tactic like bishop a4 for queen d6. Let's crumble the centre. So knight takes, cd, knight d6, bishop a4, queen d6. Alright, he's not doing it that way anyway. Alright, so the centre's not crumbling. So slightly different now. I don't know. If the bishop moves knight d4, that probably extends the scope of the bishop. Okay, knight takes e3. I don't know if that's worth it. I'm going to be cheeky with this move. With knight e4, bishop a4, cheeky, little battery. Because that knight's holding the bishop. The bishop's blockading my position. It's containing my pieces. Otherwise this bishop might be liberated one day. So knight's holding a4. So knight takes, bishop takes a4. It's a bit pedantic. But okay, now, this is very different. This is something I like now with the G file potentially. Any e4, there's always knight d4. Okay, the knight's kind of tied down to a4 still. Okay. f4 first, and then e4. What about that, and then f3? So I'm going to try and push my opponent to get the f3 pawn. Knight d4, f3 can't be worth it because I'm battering his king. I'm knocking on the door here of his king side, aren't I? Knight d4, f3. Knocking on the doors of the king's castle. Knight d4, f4. So I play queen f7 here or not? Queen g6, knight h4, queen g5. This might be plausible to break the pin. Because knight h4, queen g5. So again, knight d4. Now f3's got more power to it, threatening mate. So okay, knight d4, f3. In fact, aren't I threatening bishop takes h3 as well? So in fact, this looks as though it's pleasant, because knight d4 bishop takes h3 looks pleasant enough. Knight h4 queen g5 g3 is maybe a slight snag because of that f4 pawn. Okay, he's going for that one. It is a slight snag. What about e3 though? Doesn't e3 cure my problems here? Because, oh right, he's giving up this h4. Okay, I'll take that. I probably don't. There's not immediate rook to the 7th. Let's stop this rook to the 7th business. Bishop f5 here. Nope, there's rook f7. If I just move my king. Okay, he's going to pick up d7 by pick up f2. Or not. I'm still bishop up. I could time down a little bit to f2. Queen g6, queen f2, queen f6. I mean, I don't know if he'd want to play that anyway. Bishop d4, I'm allowing this mate potentially. I've got to be a bit wary about that. Queen d4, queen d5, is that a plausible thing? Queen g6 after. Maybe queen e3 is the way to play it. What does he do to queen e3? Because I'm wondering, I want to get bishop e5 check with a check. So king h1 check there. Okay, so this looks good. A piece. If I play queen d3 with the idea bishop d4. If king h2, queen d1. So I have the idea. Queen d1. And bishop e5. Queen g3 threatens mate though. But I'm going to be pinning that queen on f4, there's bishop f4. So say queen g3, queen d1, king h2, bishop e5. Bishop e5 here looks good. Now queen d1 looks good. Unless there's anything stronger. Alright, I'm a bishop up. I really should be able to just... Surely I can just do this, surely. Can't take that. Well, why do I let him protect the pawn anyway? Let's check anyway. Alright, thanks for the game, Olaf. Yeah, very exciting game there. Azul missed. Okay. It's the Smyslov defense. Kramnik student in the chat. I've looked this up. I'm pretty sure it's called the Smyslov defense in the Royal Pairs. It's a legitimate thing. I'm pretty sure I've heard an IM say this is something worth trying out. Now, this bishop e7 is quirky, isn't it? I've had an IM play this way against me. That's why I sort of learnt it from an IM myself with white. Because I thought this gambit, in theory, is really dangerous because you play bishop g5 and try and provoke f6. But this is like a lesser evil thing, where you do give up the dark square bishop, but you don't get hacked to death so quickly. Yes, I know it seems absurd that I'm giving this up, but yeah, that's the strength of my opponent's play. So, I think can I? Okay. I don't really want the simplification much. Let's just check this out. Knight g5, queen d7. There's no immediate way of hitting e6. Maybe that's better because I get some sort of f-file initiative pressure dynamic. Takes knight g5, queen d7 with a prospect of doubling rooks. I just didn't fancy this and this, and just everything comes off, and I didn't fancy that. There's actually interesting things in the realms of computer chess programming, which I think are actually useful to sort of formalize one's own game settings. One of them is like a trade penalty. So like the neural network Leela chess against, in weaker rounds, a configuration change for the weaker rounds was to kind of have this trade penalty introduced. So Leela wouldn't be exchanging off pieces as much in the earlier rounds. And there's another one I've discovered called contempt, where you have contempt for the opponent, so you might play more ambitiously, more aggressively. And I'm thinking that's useful for my own over the board game as well. Recently, this notion of contempt, the way I translate that is basically not just to look at the less contempt I'm thinking I should have for an opponent, the more I would question if I can really exploit the opponent's downsides without giving downsides of my own. That's the way I translate contempt. That's the way I'm thinking of translating the idea of contempt. So if it's like a weaker opponent, then I just look at the downsides without worrying too much. But a stronger opponent, I look, can I really, really do this and get away with it more? I think that's how I translate contempt. So I kind of had this conversation recently. I asked about that, and people thought, well, you do that naturally when you sort of go on the attack more against maybe some players. But yeah, I think for me that's how I translate it. A lot more caution, basically, when trying to exploit things, if it like doesn't backfire. So okay, c7, knight d4 can interrupt the rooks. So knight takes, rook takes. If he took the rooks, they end up with a pin, which backfires for me because of knight f5 check picking up d7. On the other hand, what if I just go for rook e2? So yeah, there's going to be simplification. I don't know if I really can do anything else here. So a simplification line, knight d4, rook takes. Oh, there's knight takes f3 check. That's a nifty move. Interrupt, rook takes. There's knight f5 check though. He could play it this way. But if he plays this, knight takes f3 is pretty clear cut. But he could play it like knight takes, rook takes, knight f5. Is that losing a piece though? G takes, rook takes. No, that's fine. So let's say knight takes, pawn takes, rook takes, knight takes. Then if rook d7 is knight f5. Okay. I think he is playing it the right way. Unfortunately for me. So I'm going to end up with this rook and pawn ending now. Great. Okay, knight takes, rook takes, knight takes pawn, knight takes, rook e2. Is there rook e2? Okay. So my king's in the wrong place. There's just... Yeah, my king's in the wrong place. So I'm going to be a pawn down there. He's improved the rook and pawn ending. Unless I can just take and then rook e2. Now let's get back to this just being equal on pawns, but at least a rook has invaded. So we're scrambling to get the best version of this ending, both of us. I think this is a reasonable version when I pick up b2. If I did this, can I go for the b3 pawn. I like my rooks cutting his king here. It's a bit of a Capablanca endgame advantage. The rook cutting the king is a nice endgame thing. Okay, I can use these as sort of to gain time for this. So I'm in a bit of a race here with the pass pawns. I think he's too slow here. Because I got the check and an a1. I think it's too slow because I'm going to sack my rook if needed. 3 or 5 minutes is up to you, whatever you prefer actually. I don't mind 3 or 5. There might be less commentary on the 3 though. Right, thanks for the game as I missed. Yeah, that was getting tricky. Okay. Jan 606. So, I don't know if any of you have thought of this idea of formalizing contempt, what it actually means in concrete terms. But I'll give you a concrete example just to say a bit more about this recent example. I accepted, I did a pawn gambit and I also inflicted self-like structural damage to get a G file, which I thought against a lesser player might have worked. But against this player, he just cast doubt on the whole thing. So the stronger the opponent, they could just neutralize all the counterplay if you make a structural concession, and it all goes downhill later. So maybe with less contempt, you'd think, well, maybe I shouldn't sack a pawn and my pawn structure and just play more solidly. So that's an example what I mean. Contempt, if it's formalized, it can influence your whole like style of play, I think. Yeah, for how much risk you're taking, really. What can you get away with? So let's see, h3, f4. Knight g3. Okay, that's another king's in attack. So knight g3, g5, f6. So if I play g5, is that f6? I'm going to take a risk there, because f6 might not be that fatal, because h4, it blocks in the bishop. h4 on f6. Okay, f5 is slightly vulnerable, but you know, this bishop's going to be opened up if you ever took here. Can I put some more pressure on f6 now? I don't think this is a consideration because it gives the e5 square to the knight. But it might be useful just to connect the rooks in any case. Just to play it to connect the rooks, actually. Not with this idea. This gives me, conversely, the e4 square. But I might fall into bits with f5 being weak. I don't think it's enough to justify f5 dropping. So if I played Queen D2, can I play then Rook F2 and Rook A F1? I think actually there might be an idea with Bishop H3 at some point, with Bishop D4, Bishop E6 on FG. As long as I avoid Knight F3 being working, and this could be something to plan for. So Bishop takes, F takes, Bishop E6. Okay, so I play this, I play this, I play this. I've got the pin. I'm threatening maybe G takes. G takes looks interesting to keep the bishop for a moment, because bishop, there's check. That looks dangerous in its own right. Let's say Rook F6, Rook F6, Queen H6. This little one can come across, but there's Queen H8, Queen G7. If Bishop G7, let's check this again. There isn't the Bishop G7. Why not, if I just win the exchange, or keep the bishop? I'm tempted to keep the bishop. Okay. G takes, Rook takes, Rook takes, Bishop takes, check. Now there's no Bishop G7. If Rook G7, there's Queen H8. Bishop stopping G8. If King E7, there's Queen G7. And if the King E7 immediately, I think there was Queen H7. So I'm going to keep the bishop on E6 for a moment. Okay, so we have this, then we have this. Queen H6. King E7, Queen H7 picks up the rook at least, if it's not mating. Well, this is picking up the rook as well. So I just take the rook, maybe. Okay, there's Queen H2 here. I mean, Queen H2 is nifty. So there's no Queen G4. Queen G5, I can take off the bishop next. Alright, so there's Queen F7. And there's Rook G8. And there's Rook F8. Okay, thanks for the game. You on? Okay. So, Nick 06. Yeah, it's a pretty natural plan. Pretty natural plan. F5. Or knight d5. Knight d5 looks interesting as well. Or knight g3 and then f5. This is a problematic setup against the Botvinnik system, I think. Well, it looks like it could be a problem anyway. Okay, this stops knight h5. That might actually be a way to play d4 here. Oh, maybe I should have considered d4. Alright, for the moment, bishop e3, I suppose. Let's just check out knight g4, hg check. That's going to be dangerous. No, I think it doesn't work. Bishop h3. Okay. Check. Bishop h3. Whilst my queen's covering g4, this doesn't work. Surely. No, I think I can just take that. Okay, an idea is knight c2. Knight c2 if I leave c2. If I played rook f2, there's that h4, queen h4. And if I played bishop d4 just to try and win a pawn, is that silly? This might not be. It might be justified. This I might. Okay, I don't like doing this generally, but it might be justified here. This dark square bishop could be a pain. Although here, yeah, it looks as though knight d5 and f6 is going to squish the bishop. Mind you, there's queen e5. No squishing yet. There's queen e5. King h1, queen b2. Well, there's f6 there. Not here because it takes my queen. D4 to nudge the queen. I can't play f6. D4, queen d4, knight e7, king h8, f6, bishop f6. Unless there's something else there. Yeah, d4, queen e4, f6. Let's look at this again. CD, there's queen g5 there. Yeah. So f6 with the idea of queen g5. Is that bishop f6, not f6? F CD, queen g5. Form pawn. So queen d4, f6, form pawn. This does give rise to form pawns, this crude Botvinnik system approach. Okay, so there's a form pawn. So CD, queen g5. CD, queen g5. Let's have a look at queen g5 again. Looks pretty strong. Okay, I think queen g5. Alright, I think I'll just take the queen there. Let's play rook f5 and give up the exchange, I think. Or is that silly? Maybe queen g3. I think I want to play rook d6 actually. Rook d6 is useful. Surely. So Rook f1 coming up, or not, as the case may be. I have to nudge this bishop with a4. Now, if bishop h6, this is check. If bishop f6, that's possible, I suppose. But queen f4 here. Right, so there's queen takes f6. There's rook d8 if that other rook's used. That's queen h6. Okay, thanks for the game then, Nick. Okay, interesting. So, rank hash. Okay. Well, this is, I recommend this to people. This plan, it's a very easy attacking plan for the attacking player. It's very, very easy. I think reinforcing the variations of this plan. I hope you're not too bored by it. Tell me, are you bored of this plan? I do seem to be reusing this plan quite a lot. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's like every game. It gets a form pawn. I'm a fan of form pawns. Do you want me to do something else? We did have a day when it was all Sveshnikov. Do you remember? Off the World Chess Championship, for some reason, every game was a Sveshnikov. That was good, wasn't it? That day. So. Okay, let me think. I'm about to do a terrible pre-move because I'm crabbing student. I'm about to have a pre-move disaster here. Looking at the chat here. Oh. I'm going to have an Alekhine's gun on the H file. So I want two rooks and the queen behind it. Alekhine's gun, that's right. So how can I arrange an Alekhine's gun? Rook h6, rook h here, rook queen goes back, hg, we've got the Alekhine's gun. It's a build-up, which is lethal. And engine games recently, there was a decisive Alekhine's gun in the amazing T-set match recently. Was there? I think that might have been anyway. Why am I dropping a7 though? I don't need to drop a7. Let's not be too radical. So we've got the Alekhine's gun. The queen is at the base of the two rooks. Because literally, you know, when we think about tactics, one of the people on coaching recently, literally some puzzle problems are solved by doubling rooks. So in a way, you can say doubling rooks is a tactic in its own right. And if you think about the Alekhine's gun, that's another tactic in its own right. You're creating immense pressure, and it just sometimes breaks the opponent, the pressure. Like here, h1, it's only protected by 2, and I've got 3 blasting down the other Cohen's gun now. So the idea of taking on g4 is stronger than usual now. So bishop takes g4, I think it's possible. So it's not just a novel concept. I think it's a really practical concept, the Alekhine gun. It stems from this game Alekhine against Nimzovich. Nimzovich had this pinned knight on c6. Alekhine just built up the pressure, and the gun was named after him after that. My king might be there's bishop f6. The queen would be on a dark square. It's some time away from being a real nuisance, I would hope. So there's bishop f3 here. Let's just check this again though. The king moves. Well, I think just bishop f6 actually after taking on h1. Yeah, so I think the act of doubling rooks is like a tactic in its own right, or trebling is like a tactic in its own right, like a pin, you know, deflection, a decoy. Okay, thanks for the game, Rakesh. Yeah, that was the dangers of an Alekhine's gun build up. That game. I could play e4 for variety. Actually, I think I'm getting bored of my own play now. Okay, let's try and do something. After this game, I'll play e4 because I'm getting bored of my own plan reuse. Okay. This is slightly different anyway. We got a different climate here. Okay, so what's going on? Right, the thing is, I'm hoping this is okay for knight h3 to f4. So it's it's a entirely different plan. Using the f4 square. I'm keeping that tension because I think taking would weaken e4. So I'm hoping to have perch a knight on f4 here. Or not, as the case may be. I'm going to have to work with this light square bishop now. Okay, it's no big issue necessarily. I'll still give the gambit. I think it will break his pawn chain up a bit. Wondering about c5 though. Is it too dangerous? c5. This is an interesting moment because I don't actually understand at this moment what are the downsides of having this position. I don't really get it. Let alone if I could do it safely. I don't know what is the actual weakness. It's on the light squares maybe. Something about these light squares or d5. Maybe d5 opens up the c file. That's a perk of the bishop. So opening up the c file. There's also queen b3, knight b4, queen b3. Maybe this is something CD. Just looking at the light squares over here, like b7. So queen b3. Because I'm thinking bishop f4 to e5 as well could be something for d5 here. But the fact that he can't use rook c8 means that maybe the c-file plan is more effective than usual to sort of go for this plan. This could be a slight downer of the opponent's position because bishop f4, rook c1, double the rooks. Okay, there's a tactical opportunity on bishop f4 though as well, potentially for bishop f6, knight d5 if d4 wasn't dropping. I'm wondering if is that okay? C1 bishop e5, bishop f6 knight d5, bishop d4. Is that worth doing? I don't know. There's a bishop d4, rook d1. I'm giving up. It's potentially dangerous dark square bishop. Yeah. Okay. He's obviously concerned about something like this. Okay, I'll do this. Right. I'll take with the pawn or the queen, I wonder. I'm wondering the queen, actually. The queen, the pawn structure, this pawn could be a backward pawn, potentially. Let's just take with the queen. And, I don't know, something like rook ac1. This knight's not got too many squares here. So rook ac1 looks to be nice and comfortable. Rook ac1. Yeah, that looks pretty comfortable. Rook ac1. a3, b4, b5 even after knight b8. The knight's crawling out. I like the bishops here. I definitely like the bishops. G5 would be compromising the king side, surely. Yeah, the bishop looks great against the knight. So rook ac1. Whoa. Okay. It looks almost like g5 and f4 is a good idea, or g4, when you first look at it. But I'm pretty sure the pawns don't go backwards. So this could be punishment later on for black. I just start restricting this. Hang on, isn't that on? There's a weakness to the last move here. It's interrupted. f5. Because I wanted c8 control. I was wondering. Yeah, the c8 control is the point as well. Maybe my opponent had rook c8 there. Okay. Bishop e6, bishop e5. Bishop e5, bishop e6. Bishop e6, bishop d5. Alright, there's something to factor in here. Rook f4, there's something to factor in. Takes queen h4, bishop e2, bishop e4, queen g4, bishop g2. Basically, it might be a bit slow to try and get a knight to help the queen. Alright, I can just take things off here. In fact, there's bishop b7 at the end of this. Okay, thanks, Smile Fan. Yeah, we got a different game pattern, thank the Lord. Okay, I'm going to try for a different game pattern altogether. E4. Let's just go into the open game territory. I think you've been subjected to too many bot-winning systems recently. And so have I. So have I. Stop moving the screen. Okay. Let's play a Smith-Morra Gambit. That blocks in the bishop. It seems a passive way of playing things. I think I'm getting what I want out of the opening. Even though the gambit's been declined, I kind of like this position. So if he took, there's always that bishop b5 check. I hope everyone knows about. So I like this. This has a good feel to it for an isolated queen pawn position. The IQ period. Sometimes it's called. So it's got outpost squares. We've got attack prospects. The battery is another sort of strategic tactical device. Bishop c2, queen d3. This actually stops blockading maneuver knight b4 to d5, which is quite common in the IQP situations. So this battery is a pretty standard thing to use in this kind of scenario. Looking for things like d5 later, potentially. Sometimes that has tactical venom. Bishop g5 here, or queen d3, b4, knight a4. Maybe that's fine. Maybe. So is black castling? Because bishop g5 immediately threatens bishop f6 then. This b4 is a bit of a concern. Okay, is he actually... It's not castling queenside. No. Surely. Okay, I'll do this for a moment. The position looks pretty, in a way. So castling goes into bishop takes f6 here. If he doesn't castle, well, that's interesting. Okay, very interesting territory. So knight a4. Or knight e4. Or something else. Knight e4. Either way, a3 is dropping. Okay, knight e4, rook e4. Bishop g5, knight g5. You can hit out later at this rook. I go with knight a4. Bishop takes d5 is possible. What does that actually do though? What does that actually do? It's the knight moves. I like the idea of bishop g3 sometimes. Bishop b3 is also interesting to push through for d5. Yeah, I think I'm going to push through for d5. Because the king's in the center. Does it? Oh, hang on. Does d5 really? It feels as though d5 should be quite good. So rook d8, d5. It feels right, but is it? Knight d5. D5 here. Now e8, big queen f5 is another target. Also, knight d4 is interesting here. And queen g5 is not that interesting. Okay. D6 is technically maybe interesting. There's always bishop f3 and rook g5. Let's have a look at d6 again. Bishop takes. What about bishop takes f6? Doesn't that solve a major problem there. Or if it took with the queen, I'd still take on f6. Okay, I'm thinking d6 is dangerous. Actually, in fact, there's queen takes f5 there. This pawn would be pinned. Bishop d6. Oh. If I took the queen, he takes mine. I take this. Oh, he takes with the rook after. Okay, so I'll take this then. Alright, so I take on e7. If I played rook c1 here, isn't that dangerous? Rook c1, and this is anything stronger. Oh, it's bishop d5. And it's queen a4. I don't need to get involved in that. I think just rook c1. Let's see. Queen f3, rook c7. Maybe I'll take the queens off. Okay, if I take and then knight b6. Okay, let's kick this, maybe double the rooks soon with, okay, I can threaten rook takes d8, maybe, for rook c6. Okay, so this rook c7 looks tempting now without any king to the center. Rook d4. It looks as though rook c8 is going to be tempting. Let's take it here. Take it here. This pin. Take it here. Okay, yeah, that was a change of opening. Smith Morgan, thanks for that. Yeah, that was interesting. Okay. Let's play e4 again. I just don't want to play the bottleneck system. Okay, I know I can be boring. Okay, I don't want to be. It'll be like playing the London. Even worse, if we play the London system. You don't want that over and over again. Okay, let's try and play some interesting openings sometimes with white. Okay, should we do the 10-second count? 1 elephant, 2 elephants, 3 elephants, 4 elephants, 5 elephants, 6 elephants, 7 elephants, 8 elephants, 9 elephants, 10 elephants. Okay, I'm going to abort this another time. Okay. Okay, sniper chess. I don't have to do the countdown again, do I? Okay. Might have to start. Okay. 1 elephant, 2 elephants, 3 elephants, 4 elephants, 5 elephants, 6 elephants, 7 elephants, 8 elephants, 9 elephants, 10 elephants. Okay, all the time. The dude's halt. We got a game. Okay, cool. And I'm playing the same thing as before, am I? Okay, let's try and play a Marshall Gambit. I want to go over some other stuff. Okay, how does the Marshall Gambit go again? It'd be good if I could remember how. I don't think it's knight f6. Oh well. There's no actual guarantee of getting into Marshall Gambit in any case. I was just confused myself. Yeah, I should have played g6. This looks like a Berlin of some sort, yeah, which, okay. A Berlin defense. That's an interesting variation. What is going on here? This looks unusual for Berlin, as far as I remember. I think this is unusual. You know what? I think if I wanted a Marshall Gambit, I think a6 is the move instead of knight f6. Knight f6 surely is just the Berlin defense, the early knight f6. Okay, without a6. Okay. It looks as though I'm a piece up out of this opening. Am I not just a piece up? Yeah. The other thing about this, it's like with the pawn on e5, I feel not just a piece up, I feel sheltered with this pawn on e5 at this moment, with the f5 square, which is a usual perk you get in the Berlin defense. You sometimes get the f5 square to work with, I noticed. Right, there is knight d5, I suppose. Okay, knight d5, and then should I be worried? Queen d8. I'm hoping this doesn't build into a major attack. I guess this means like knight f6 after, potentially. Alright, so yeah, I can't count the chickens before they're hatched. Knight d5, queen d8. White has a prospect of knight f6 as a forcing move. Can I play d5 here just to sack and liberate the position? Ed, queen d6, knight d5, queen d8. Just to kind of liberate the position. In fact, do I need to sacrifice a pawn? What's the matter with d6? Knight d5, queen d8. What's the matter with d6? Well, if there's no knight f6, there's no naughty business yet going for my soft spot because queen takes g5. The f5 is protected. e6 I just take. I don't know. I don't know what white is doing necessarily as a plan. Isn't there... I can sympathise with a c6 idea. Yeah. It extinguishes any thoughts of knight f6. Is there any danger on the horizon? Okay, I don't know. Okay, yeah, I think the opening went wrong. Just the Marshall Gambit. If I want to transpose to a Marshall Gambit, I'm really thinking it's. I think I need to remember how it works. The Marshall Gambit, isn't it something like this? Is it with a6? For some reason, yeah, okay. I need to check that out. Try and play the Marshall Gambit in another game. Alright. Maybe it's not with a6. Someone tell me, is it a6 or not? It can't be a6. Okay. Knight 90. I think I will stick with c4 in this game. Polish FM. 1 elephant, 2 elephants, 3 elephants, 4 elephants, 5 elephants, 6 elephants, 7 elephants, 8 elephants, 9 elephants, 10 elephants. Well, that would have been a great game challenge. Michael Palinka. I'll try and play something different from the usual knight f6 again. Might be tempted for bishop h3, f3 here. I'll stop queen g5. Oh, that's c5. What about knight d4? Knight d4. If queen g5 can double the pawns. Oh, hang on. Isn't there knight e5? Okay. Okay. I think there was knight e5. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Protecting e5 now. So if I played knight c6 or knight takes f3, knight c6, bishop b5 as an example. There's again pressure on e5. Does it matter? Queen d6? Oh, I lose c5. Knight e6, I lose e5. That leaves knight f3. Okay, if I need to gain a tempo, then knight f3 for b6. If I just deprive this g5 for a moment and lock down over here, there could be a plan here. Bishop h5, bishop go g6. It's a bit slow to go to knight to f4 route. Knight to f4, queen g4. Okay, I'll take the undoubling opportunity for a moment. Bishop e5, c6. Isn't there knight takes e4 here? That's a forcing move to consider, isn't it? Knight takes e4. That gives me knight c5 with a comfortable position, if I can get away with it. Just checking this. Bishop b5, c6. It's an unprotected piece. If you, from the outset, make some mental notes about the tactical vulnerabilities, it's very good for forward and backward calculation. You can calculate some if-then moves, and then you can reference your earlier notes if there's tactical vulnerabilities. I've been solving some puzzles recently, and that helps to make notes like unprotected piece. So that here from the outset, it seems as though knight e4 exploits the unprotected piece. But yeah, key tactical vulnerabilities to look out for: pin pieces unprotected, overloaded, overworked, trappable, all these kind of piece issues. You can make mental notes about them. When you're doing calculation, you might remember, hold on, I've made some notes, and then all of a sudden there's an unprotected piece to exploit later on, and sometimes you can't get that very easily if you're trying to look ahead. Like in calculation, you have to make the notes first sometimes, I find anyway. So rook takes here keeps alright, there's rook e4. Okay, I'll play this. So for bishop e4 and queen f5. So what if I played e4? Can I do that? There's a check, king h7. You know, if the pawn wasn't here, then there'd be queen e4, knight g5 check. But because the pawn's on h6, yeah, I'm not sure this check's that lethal. Okay, king h7. I don't think there's a forcing move there like queen e4, so it might be worth playing. To activate the rook. Okay, I'm inviting that rook in. Okay, that looks a little bit dangerous. On the other hand, well, I get access to the back row as well. Oh, is that the kind of refutation? So what if I played, okay, what if I played queen c5? I can always pick up maybe a4 later. Queen c5? I'm losing that pawn the way he's played it. Oh, okay, I'm losing the pawn. Let's unpin. Let's unpin. I don't like this pin piece all the time. I thought you'd just take the pawn, actually. What if I just played this? Isn't the knight now pinned to f2? I think the knight's pinned to f2. Otherwise, it might have been tempting to play knight e5, but not here. Queen f2. Right now, with the king actually protecting the rook, that was a good perk of king f8. I think I can just take here now. So it wasn't just unpinning. No, I didn't really think about that too much. Okay, thanks for the game. Alright, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week. Check out this 3 months special extra, which is at the moment. So, yes, birthday celebration for Chess24. Let's have a look at that dedicated screen for that. So if you look, 3 months, use the code BIRTHDAY2019 when buying a 1, 2 or 3 year premium membership, and it's valid until this date here. Okay, so I hope you check that out, and hope you enjoyed today's session. Okay, I'll try for a bit more variety next time. Alright, have a nice Sunday. Thanks for the games. Lula lost the match in T-Set, but still it was an epic match. So neural networks, I think, will come to revitalize chess soon. They have to be a bit stronger than the current ones, though. Okay, check out that as well. Thanks very much. See you next time.